X-Men 129 is the hot book this week, and it's one of the most loaded Bronze Age X-Men keys ever. Kitty Pryde, Emma Frost, Hellfire Club, the beginning of the Dark Phoenix Saga. Ooh.
Sweet book. For the old fart rule, we're digging into Anything Goes, #1, the 1986 Fantagraphics Legal Defense Anthology with Gil Kane, Flaming Carrot, Alex Toth, Gilbert Hernandez, and the one of the strangest backstories in indies comics.
You love you some Gil Kane. And for the underrated books of the week, we've got late career Jack Kirby going creator-owned with Silver Star, and Grant Morrison turning Animal Man from a forgotten Silver Age oddity into one of DC's smartest cult classics, paving the way for Vertigo. Ooh, it's a lot of good stuff on this episode of Bronze and Modern Gods. Hey everyone, how are you? You know what I like about this, Richard, is
What do you like?
we have a steady viewership of like 2,000 views a week, like rock solid 2,000 views a week, which, you know, big deal, but we're a niche podcast.
Yeah.
We're very niche.
I appreciate 2,000 views a week. That's awesome.
And not only is it comic book related, but it's like older dude comic book related. So we just want to appreciate each and every single one of you and thank you for that. If you're new here, why not hit subscribe? Why not hit like? All that good stuff. As we talk about the soundtrack of the week, Richard, I put this in the notes and you immediately started talking about Squeeze 45s and under. What is your experience with this album?
Oh, I love this album. This was my soundtrack for the summer, probably 1984. Just a great album. Squeeze is an English band that put together this compilation of 45s and single hits that they had. And it was my first experience with the band. And it's one thing I love about compilations, there's no fluff. It's all good stuff. You know, for it to be a single, it's good stuff. So I remember spending the summer in Washington, D.C., working with my aunt. And I would take the subway downtown to downtown D.C. It was a fun summer to work. But I had my Walkman, one of those little Walkman. I had Pat Benatar's album, and I had the Squeeze album, and I had a Bruce Springsteen album too. I love Bruce. And I played those the entire summer. And this was back in the days before you had unlimited access to any music you ever wanted. It was whatever you had in your pocket, that was your musical selection.
Yes,
and
kids.
Squeeze was a big part of that summer, and I appreciate it. I love the album. The music is amazing.
It's funny. It's my first Squeeze record as well that I owned. And the title is a pun. 45s and under refers to, you know, they were 45s, singles, 45 RPM, but none of the singles charted higher than 45 in the US. Yeah. So 45 and under. And my big memory of this is I was one of the first things I ordered myself from the Columbia Record and Tape Club. When I was in high school, you know, which did I ever fulfill my obligations? Perhaps not. You decide. I'll let you figure that out. But I had 12 cassettes for a penny, and this was one of them. I remember distinctly Squeeze playing SNL when this came out, and they played Annie Get Your Gun and Pulling Muscles from the Shell. And I remember the second song, I believe, was Annie Get Your Gun, and loving it. And my mom interrupting it right before the end to tell me to go to bed. What am I doing up so late watching this show? Go to bed right now. Very emblazoned on my mind. She interrupted Annie Get Your Gun to tell me that. Do you guys like Squeeze? Let us know as we pivot to the hot book of the week. Richard, all you, all the time. You do it.
All right. The hot book of this week is X-Men number 129 back in Marvel back in 1980. This is
sorry, go ahead.
It's a pivotal book in the X-Men chronology. You know,
hey,
of course,
take a drink. Richard said pivotal.
Chris Claremont at his best story. This is the first appearance of a number of different characters, as John mentioned in the intro. You got the first appearance of Kitty Pryde. You got the first appearance of Emma Frost. You got the first appearance of the Hellfire Club. It's the first book in the Dark Phoenix Saga. All that starts in this one book. And because of that, this book has always had a pretty significant bump in value when you look at it across the other books in the 120s. Now these are all the books around this issue are amazing books as well, but because of all these first appearances, X-Men 129 has always had a huge bump. I've loved it because it started the real excitement in the Claremont run, for me at least, as the Hellfire Club story kicks off, and beautiful John Byrne art along with Chris Claremont's story makes for an amazing book. John, what about you? What's your attachment to this book?
I was buying it off the newsstand at this point. I think I started with issue 124 right before the arcade story, which I loved. Yeah,
you love that stuff.
I like that story because I liked arcade from Marvel Team Up when it was Captain Britain and Spider-Man fighting arcade. So I was already familiar with arcade, and being a nerd that loved arcades, I thought, oh, it's I get it. He's riffing on arcades. But I mean, this was one of my favorite books at the time, and I really enjoyed it. It was tough to find on the newsstand still, even though it had gone monthly. It was growing, but it wasn't Spider-Man. It wasn't Incredible Hulk. It wasn't Captain America even. I remember the excitement of Byrne going to Captain America. People were excited because Byrne was going to Fantastic Four. I was like, "Ooh, Byrne's going to Captain America! Finally, something decent." But this was prime X-Men. I went all the way to 137. 137 was double sized. It was 75 cents. I could not find it on my regular newsstand because my local newsstands did not like giant size books. They would not stock them. So I'd have to go elsewhere to find annuals or special issues. I remember a few of those. There were Fantastic Four 236, which was $1. It was triple sized. Couldn't find that one. Had to go to the mall, Midway Mall. I had to go to what was it? Midway Mall, was it Rite Aid? There was a drugstore in Midway Mall. I can't remember which one it was, but they had a spinner rack in the back, and I had to go there to find giant size books. Walden Books started carrying comic books at this time too, and that helped out as well. Is it really still only $75 raw? Can you still find this book for $75?
Find this. Yeah, I have been buying this book for years. And the average price is about $50. But I was looking on eBay today. I verified this was an eBay price. It was $75 for a raw. So you can still get this book for a reasonable amount of money. If you got a 9.8 and you're looking to sell it now, I would say is probably a great time. I looked at 9.8s also, and back in August 16th, I believe, a 9.8 sold for $4,000 for this book.
Don't tell me that. Everybody take a drink, because John said, I used to have that book and I sold it. Take a drink.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an outlier. I did see books for over 1,600, 2,000, but I did see this one confirmed sale on eBay for $4,000. So
isn't that like 94 9.8 prices for issue 94? Isn't that
around? You would, yeah, and that goes to tell people, the importance of this book in the overall mythos for the X-Men, because it does command that price bump. The issues around it don't have any way near the kind of draw that this particular book does.
Yeah, I mean, you've got two fan favorite characters, Kitty Pryde and Emma Frost. I mean, geez, that alone, it's crazy. Thank you, Byrne. Thank you, Claremont.
And the Hellfire Club too, one of the greatest villain enterprises ever. That's with Sebastian Shaw, who also appears in this book for the first time. So,
it's a total ripoff of the British TV show The Avengers, right?
Yeah, that's okay. It's done well. I think these are educated villains as opposed to ruffians that the X-Men fight a lot of. There was a lot of, especially as you get into the Phoenix Saga, a lot of mind manipulation and a lot of more adult in its approach kind of villains, and I appreciate that.
Claremont and Byrne, definitely Anglophiles. They liked British television because they ripped off the Avengers a bit. They ripped off Doctor Who quite a bit with some other stuff. That's why we didn't know we were kids. We loved it. What do you guys think? X-Men back in the day. What do you think of Elsewhen now? What do you think of that? Have you finished yours?
No, I haven't. Not yet.
Okay. All right. Well, let's switch and show some more books that we love in a segment we like to call Creatively Enough Show and Tell. I don't have a theme. I'm lazy, but I thought I'd start off with a banger. We were talking about this run on our members only live stream last Thursday. And I thought I'd bring out a very nice minty copy of Young Men number 25. Look at this.
Yeah.
It's a reprint.
Is it really?
Yes, it's a JCPenney reprint from the 90s, but it looks great. Funny story about this book. I was on eBay back in the day when it was Wild Wild West eBay, and you could still snag things. You know, people would list things with the wrong title or they wouldn't know what it was. And somebody had Young Men 25, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get this. And I get it. And I'm like, this thing is gorgeous. And then I turn it over. I don't think they had Stridex in 1954.
No, they did not.
So I had to email the guy and say, look, nice try, my friend, but you're going to give me a refund. And he was either a very good actor via email, or he just truly did. He was mortified. He's like, oh, send it back. I'll give you a refund. Or he didn't even ask me to send it back. He let me keep it. But yeah, so buyer beware on eBay. What do you have?
All right. So I got excited. X-Men is our capstone book. So I picked up the latest X-Men from the news from my local LCM.
It's on issue 34 already. Because remember I was buying it when it relaunched. Wow. And Gail Simone's writing it. I see it. Go on.
I wanted to, first of all, it has two of my least favorite characters in this, which is Rogue and what's his name?
Gambit, guy on the cover.
Gambit. Yeah, guy on the cover. I'm sorry, I couldn't think of his name. It just couldn't get into it. It just couldn't. And it's a couple different storylines running simultaneously, and also it's got Jubilee in it, which is not. I'm also not a huge fan of Jubilee.
Strike 1, 2, and 3 for me.
Yeah. I picked it up because I haven't read an issue of X-Men in a long time, and this book does not encourage me to read. And I'm not going to buy the next issue. I'll wait for the next issue, number 1, and start from scratch. Which, I don't know how long this particular storyline is going to go. The artwork is okay. It's fine. It's very serviceable. But you've got Gambit as this demon thing. And
could you understand it? Could you pop in and follow it?
I tried. There definitely I don't understand what happened to Gambit. That I have no clue. And they reference it a bit through the story. Then there's a whole nother storyline with this new character there in the corner that looks like a hyena.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and I didn't get interested enough to be interested in buying issue number 35. But like I said, I'll give it a try again.
What's the legacy numbering on that now?
734.
Oh wow. So I think the last time I read X-Men was 434 issues ago. Plus.
I know. I'll duck in and try, because again, X-Men is one of my favorite comics, and I'll duck in, and I don't know if sometimes you may need to give it more than one issue. I understand you're I'm cherry picking one issue out of a run. Probably should give it 3 or 4 issues for me to warm up to it. But when you're paying $5 an issue just to warm up to something, I can spend that $5 on something else that
Is it Gail Simone? Is it truly? Can you look at the credits? I'm sure everyone's in the comments already. It's not Gail Simone, John. It's another Simone.
No, it is Gail Simone.
All right.
There
we go. Okay, well, good for her. See, there's a name I actually recognize. Mm-hmm. Good. All right. Shadow State from Broadway Comics. This was Jim Shooter's company after Defiant, which was his company after Valiant. This was his third swing at the bat. Broadway Comics owned by Lorne Michaels, Broadway video, SNL producer, famous. Why Broadway wanted to get into comic books after the crash is beyond me. I have no idea why they would put money into this. Lasted a little longer than a year, I think. Not my favorite Jim Shooter type of stuff. Wow, this was double bagged. It literally was double bagged. I always joke about that. Somebody double bagged it, but look, it's foily.
Yeah, I can tell.
Chromey. That is not Exo. That is not Magnus. Jim Shooter, for all your experience as an editor, you let this trade dress go through?
Why? What's wrong with it?
Besides,
it's huge.
Well, first of all, tell me, if I didn't tell you the name of the book, what would you think the name of the book was?
Something Scream.
Or Broadway Comics featuring Blood Scream. It's actually Shadow State is the name of the comic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but it's just, and look at all that dead space. Oof, you know, he must have really been under pressure. But yeah, very, again, against the usual Shooter clarity of the 9-panel grid and telling a story. You get more image type art in
very
these
image,
books,
which
is not what Shooter was really pushing for. So I have to wonder how invested he was in Broadway comics at the time. Anybody know? Can't ask him anymore. Let us know. What do you have next?
Next book I have is an interesting one. It's called Excommunicated. This is also new on the newsstand. And it's a story about a nun who, who's dealing with exorcisms. I'm not gonna spoil the story because it's what happens to her is really tied into. But this is an introductory issue, so you know they're setting up. There's a lot of setup in this that's going to pay off, I hope, in issue number 2. But it's a really nice book. I enjoyed reading it. The artwork inside is very good.
It kind of has a Richard Case from Doom Patrol feel to it. The artwork.
Yeah, the writer is Jeremy Robinson. The art is Tiago Palma. I'm not familiar with those names.
Is it from Vault Comics? Who's it from?
Yep, Vault Comics.
Okay.
So, wow. My LCS is for right now is Carolyn Johns here in the Cleveland area, and the person behind the counter recommended this book highly when I brought it to the counter. I bought it because I like the cover and I got a quick glance through it. Plus, this is a number 1. I like to read. I like to pick up stories at number 1 so that there's no ambiguity what's going on.
They ordered too many, he said cynically. Sorry, just kidding. What was the name of the cat that lived there at Carolyn Johns forever? The orange kitty.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
They had a cat, guys, that lived at the comic shop, and he was the friendliest kitty, and he lived for like 18 years, 17 years. He was adorable. That was the main reason to go to Carolyn Johns, besides the great comics, was to pet the kitty. Jim Shooter, just talking about this. After he left, this book launched, Bloodshot, issue 7. I bring this up just because of the awful, horrible cover.
What is going on with his abdomen there? I can't tell.
Ninjax put a sword through him. See?
Okay.
You can wow. I mean, I don't want to say this is Don Heck-like, but it's very Don Heck-like.
Yeah, it is. It is. You know, you try to use a cover to entice people and to give people a feel of what the book is, right? I mean, that's what my interpretation of what a cover should do.
Don Perlin cover, poor Don. Again, just a workhorse through the Bronze Age and through the early Copper Age, but not his best work. This also has the serial number contest inside, where you got a serial number with your, don't detach it. You have to go and see if your serial number matches on whatever they were doing pre-internet to get you to match it. But you know, if you're buying Valiant at this time, you're very, very excited because they're shooting up in value. You've got Deathmate coming, the Image and Valiant crossover. It's gonna put your kids through college and their kids and their kids' kids. What's your last book?
My last book is I thought was pretty cool. It is Shell Shock, an EC book. And now this is Oni Press. Oni Press put this out. You can see their logo here on the back. And it is a collection of war stories that have a little bit of a, I can't even call it a supernatural slant to them. They are gritty. Let's just call them gritty war stories. And I think there's about 5 stories in here. And the artwork is pretty good. The stories are really interesting. They all have kind of a dark twist to them. I'm not going to spoil any of them because I think they're all good. But there's a story from, for example, the Gulf War, as a story for the First World War. So they range across the span of war. But it's a great homage to the original stories that EC put out back in the 50s. And it has that same kind of feel to it. It's a nice, heavy, thick book. I like it. If this is what they're going to do for a renaissance for EC books, I'm all in.
Shell Shock, my least favorite New Order single.
The intro for that went on forever.
I hate that song, and it was in the Pretty in Pink soundtrack. It was like a definite skip, along with the bastardized version of "Wouldn't It Be Good" by the Danny Hutton Hitters instead of Lee Kershaw.
That album got me into the alternative scene, so I cannot.
But Shell Shock's horrible. It's not horrible. You know, that's when she finds out that she's not going to prom. That's what's playing when Blaine says he can't take her to prom because he asked someone first. Blaine, that's not a name. That's a major appliance. Hey, if you like show and tell, and who doesn't, why don't you become a member here on YouTube's every Thursday? We have live extended show and tell, 90 minutes with us yammering on along with one of you that gets to join us. We are booked all the way through October for guests, Richard. We are not wanting for special guests. If you want to be part of it, why not hit join here next to the subscribe button on YouTube, or you have a link there if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, and you get to see your name fly by here. Many, many new members. Wow. I don't know what to say except for thank you, and we hope to do you proud. We're back. We're regular, just like we're taking Metamucil. Now let's move on. It's great. I want to use a relatable metaphor for our age group. Viewer mail.
You've got mail.
My first piece of viewer mail comes from the modestly named Amazing Photography. Just teasing you, Amazing Photography. Talking about the Strange Tales Annual 2 with Spider-Man last week. We were talking how it doesn't have the spider emblem on him. And I said it was the 4th appearance of Spider-Man. Au contraire, according to Amazing Photography. John is a very knowledgeable guy. Well, debatable. But I do need to correct him on Strange Tales Annual 2. It's Spider-Man's 6th appearance, right? Amazing Photography, you're right. Well, it depends. It's a draw. It came out September 63, same time as Amazing Spider-Man number 4. So count it as his 5th or 6th. So it's a tie. But yes, it's definitely not his 4th appearance. So thank you for catching that. What is your first piece of viewer mail?
My first piece is from our buddy David. It's still only 35 cents. Excellent YouTube channel. Production values are through the roof. Go check them out.
CGC shill. Kidding.
Oh, there's a story behind that. Not coming to Marvel, but Micronauts is going to be part of Void Rivals universe, apparently. Oh, that's interesting. On the lack of Spider-Man logo on his costume, we had a conversation about which issue of Spider-Man did not have the spider logo on his costume. Another book that features this on the cover is Amazing Spider-Man number 98.
Really?
Yeah, and I meant to pull up 98 to take a look at it. I trust you, David, but that's interesting that those are the only occurrences of him not having
that one. It's his back. It doesn't have the spider emblem on his back where he's sliding down the wall from the Green Goblin. Here it is. No, over here, right here. It's here. It's in this area here during editing. You'll see. Good call there as well.
And Micronauts too. That's going to be awesome.
It's not the Micronauts though.
No.
Well, it's Baron Karza. It's who and a Croyer. It's who they have. Hasbro has the rights to. See, the Marvel's Micronauts is a mix of Marvel-owned characters like Bug and Marionette, and Commander Ran, along with Hasbro-owned characters at the time. Mego. Wow, there's a flashback. Mego. Hey, look at this. It is a voice from the past. Our friend Ian, aka Hoodrat Comics. What? Where have you been? I was at both the San Diego Comic-Con Marvel panel and the D23 Marvel presentation. San Diego Comic-Con panel was way more lit and fun. The D23 presentation was for the shareholders. All right, this is from last week where I made an offhand comment that, was Marvel saving the good stuff for D23? And boy, Ian Hoodrat, you were not the only one that came at me. A couple people came at me in the DMs as well, saying I was at San Diego and it wasn't that bad. So I wasn't there. I just saw what I saw and made a comparison. But you guys were there, so you tell me.
Yeah, is D23 going to be the stock shareholder kind of event where they release things that interest shareholders as opposed to fans? That's going to be interesting. I don't mind personally. I keep San Diego for the fans, and if you have things that you need to do from a business standpoint, put them in D23, your own special show. So I'm down with them doing it that way.
I say you and I just take over a local VFW hall on a Sunday afternoon and do a local comic show. Just invite everybody we know.
Sure.
$2 to get in. $2.
It'll be curated.
Yeah, everybody. What is your next piece of your mail?
My next piece is from Dan Berger Inc. And hi, Dan. It says, "Oh man, Jess and I loved Wonder Man." Talking about the cancellation. Really bummed to hear they canceled it. Ben and Yaha were great. Were a great team. Got happy for about 5 seconds about the monkey show news. But then womp womp.
We're talking about the monkeys on Tubi, how they cropped it to fit a 16:9 ratio.
These core are all excited about IPs. These corps, I should say, are all excited about IPs for them to poop on. Awesome show as always, dudes. Have a great week. Yeah, thanks, Dan. It really, comics has really become more corporate focused, at least for the big guys, for DC and Marvel. Yeah, I don't think the creatives are in control of things. I think it really is the bean counters and the corporate stooges who are making the big decisions about content, what characters to feature, things like that. And that's sad. But it's a fact of life when you really get the kind of money you got involved with making Marvel content nowadays. Creatives are going to kind of get pushed to the back burner.
Yeah, when data is your only benchmark for making decisions, you're stuck. Because I think if someone looked at Twin Peaks and said, "Hey, this isn't going to really fly with the majority of the public," it would have never gotten on the air. And we wouldn't have a classic that lives on 30 years later. So
that's a good pick too, because that was so out of left field and so non-mainstream. But it resonated with people, and in a way I think no one really could have predicted.
What are we going to miss? We won't know. That's the problem. We don't know what we're missing.
because
of these decisions.
We're missing second season of Wonder Man. That's what we're missing.
The good news is another show that never would have gotten on if there were, focus groups and marketing studies. SCTV is finally coming to Netflix on September 1st.
Oh, really?
Everybody get excited about SCTV coming to Netflix. I don't know if it's everything, but it's coming finally to Netflix.
So, and binge it because we don't know how long it's going to stay.
Exactly. This is from a YouTube viewer named Klung1. Okay. We were talking about the first appearance of Ghost Rider and Gary Friedrich being listed as the creator. Hellrider from Skywald is sometimes seen as a quasi-prototype for Ghost Rider, also created by Friedrich. Yes, Hellrider, pictured here, riding from hell, is on a motorcycle, and it's flaming, and Skywald magazines, man, those were something else. But yeah, very good call there, Clung. All right, what is your last piece of viewer mail?
My last piece is from AI Comic Grading, which is an interesting name. Sure, everyone says Heroes Con is the con to go to. All the more reason to go to Baltimore instead, in my opinion. As long as you skip MegaCon entirely, you're probably gold. What's wrong with MegaCon? That's some shade on MegaCon. Yeah. Heroes Con is just constantly we were told to go to that, and we're going to make an incredible effort to do that this year. Baltimore, we went to Baltimore a couple years ago and we enjoyed it, and we met some amazing people there. So we will get there eventually again. But MegaCon, people give your feedback on MegaCon. What do you think of that show?
Yeah, we want to hear that one. Shots fired, and not in Baltimore for once.
Yeah.
40 years ago, it was 1986. Stuff was happening. Lots of good stuff. And we get into the TARDIS for the old fart rule to see what's going on for that was almost a segue. Almost a segue. Anything goes. Number one. What the heck is this, you say?
It's a play, wasn't it? Wasn't it a musical?
Almost anything goes. Exclamation point. Look at the exclamation points. You've got anything goes. Gil Kane's Savage. Exclamation points. Ahoy. Fantagraphics comics from 1986. A benefit anthology created to help pay their legal bills when they were sued by Michael Fleisher for an interview with Harlan Ellison. We've talked about several times on this show. In 1979, the Comics Journal interviewed Harlan Ellison, and Ellison made comments about Michael Fleisher, who was known for Jonah Hex, the Spectre, and other DC work. Bug F was the epithet thrown around as a compliment, but it was not received as a compliment because Fleisher objected, sued for defamation, and the case dragged on for years and years. By 1986, Fantagraphics had serious legal bills, so they put out this anthology series where a bunch of major creators contributed their work. And issue 1 is no exception. You have Gil Kane. You have a Flaming Carrot story by Bob Burden. You have Gilbert Hernandez, Mike Barron, and Alex Toth inside, all underneath a beautiful Gil Kane cover. Shows you how different Fantagraphics was from Marvel and DC. They were not just publishing comics. They were picking fights, challenging the industry, and then using comics to help survive the consequences of doing such things. The other issues of Anything Goes are also fun because later issues include work from Alan Moore, Frank Miller, Neil Adams, George Perez, Jack Kirby, Art Spiegelman, Dave Sim, Sam Keith, Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, and Stan Sakai. Woo! Issue 1 is the start of a fascinating little anthology run. Market-wise, still cheap. Raws are anywhere from $6 to $13, depending on the condition. Richard, brace yourself. A CGC 9.8 sold last year for $39. Is it worth even slabbing? No,
but were the other issues of Anything Goes also to go to legal?
Yes, the whole series was a benefit. Yes, kind of like Steve Gerber and Jack Kirby's Destroyer Duck was earlier when Steve was fighting a Marvel over Howard the Duck.
I've seen this book before. I don't believe I've ever read it, but it's one of those books you come across when you're going through dollar bins.
Mhm. Yeah, I believe a later issue has a Maggie and Hopi story in it. There's a classic Alan Moore story about the future of comics that's very, very well regarded. You know, it says $6 on eBay. I bet you can get this in dollar bins still if you look. No one's keeping anything goes a full run.
But this the collection of art, of creatives that are a part of this series. It's an amazing list.
Sure is. There's a turtle story, I believe, in one of them. So very under the radar. If you love 80s indies, this is your jam. Speaking of Jack Kirby, it's our underrated books of the week. Richard, you are all up in my business.
I am, and I am surprised that you haven't mentioned this book. I picked my this week, Silver Star #1 from Pacific Comics in 1983. This is a Jack Kirby Goes creator owned. So this is Jack Kirby doing Jack Kirby, not working for Marvel, not working for DC. He's got no reins on his ability to be creative. So this particular character, actually, the idea dates back to the 70s. He originally developed it with Steve Sherman as a movie screenplay concept. It's it's typical of over the
waiting.
It's typical late Kirby. He kind of gets out there later on in the as you know, this is 1983. Kirby has been around the block a lot. What's your thoughts on the book? I picked it because this is the book I'm surprised you haven't talked about, because it is late Kirby and it is your favorite artist and writer.
It is one of the most bonkers Kirby books, and that's saying something when we talk about Jack Kirby and bonkers. In fact, Eric Larson and Image did a hardback. Let's use the magic of editing. Oh, here it is. They did a hardback of it. All 6 issues are included, and it's something else. You can tell there's some weirdness going on. That like issue 1, I think, was done, like you said, in the 70s, because half of it is really you can tell the art is a little older. It's inked and lettered by Mike Royer. So it kind of looks like late 70s Kirby. But then you get into the later issues and you have Greg Theakson, I think, and D. Bruce Berry doing the inks. By the way, this was the original concept art for Silver Star. Does he remind you of anyone?
Oh, yes, Evil Knievel wants his money back.
And you have, typical Jack close-ups. It's interesting. And then I think Pacific gave him the opportunity to finish it. And so, well, here's Mike Royer as well. It's later Kirby. It's cool. His layouts get really funky. Look at all those panels.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
You never see Kirby do that in the 70s or the 60s, where there's just a lot of dialogue. Darius Drum, the villain, is hilarious. Yeah, you've got 3 inkers happening here. You've got Mike Royer, you've got D. Bruce Berry, and I think you have Greg Theakson on the last one. Great pinup here. From this is inked by Jim Lee, by the way.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, wow. that pinup. So it's bizarre. I haven't talked about it because it's so bizarre. It's not my favorite work from him. It's not my least favorite work from him. Yeah, Big Massa, the Goliath of the Ghetto. We'll just move on. He stopped Captain Victory to do this. I'm very appreciative of Eric Larson and Image for collecting it in a hardback. I wish they could make the Captain Victory one happen. There were lots of issues with the original, the stats and the art and the film. They couldn't get it together. And then the Kirby heirs took it back away from Image. So Captain Victory's still floating out there waiting to be collected and reprinted.
Yeah, this book doesn't have a huge value associated with it. You can get it up on eBay for under $10. So if you're interested in late Kirby, that's bonkers. This is an opportunity. To me, it's great. I love seeing the development of a creator from the beginning when they're fresh, young, and in the 1940s, all the way down to the later part of their career where they're more mature and a little jaded, and you can see the changes of their style over time.
It was a movie treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what he was thinking. With the budgets of movies in the 70s, it would not have looked good. But it's not bad. I know I make it sound like it's horrible, but it's, again, like a lot of Kirby, it's fascinating. It's not as fascinating as, say, OMAC, where it was really prescient. Billionaires have taken over and they can buy people and replace their organs and whatever. It's wacky. Darius Drum is a really good, just insanely cosmic type villain in like the Joker, if the Joker had the power of Darkseid.
God, that's scary.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, let's talk about something a little more down to earth and relatable and not meta at all. It's Animal Man #1 by Grant Morrison and Chaz Traug from 1988. What? Buddy Baker. It was not a new character, Animal Man. He first appeared way back in Strange Adventures #180 in 1965 in 3 solo stories, created by Dave Wood and Carmine Infantino. This is the book that turned Animal Man into from a forgotten Silver Age oddity into one of DC's most interesting characters. The first issue is titled The Human Zoo, and right away you feel the book is not going to be a standard superhero revival. Buddy is a husband, a father, and a semi-retired superhero trying to figure out if there's still a place for him in the DCU. The run becomes famous for going meta, especially by the time Grant Morrison reaches Animal Man 25 and 26, where he literally enters the story and confronts Buddy. But all that groundwork begins here. Brian Bolland covers. That's what sold this book. Look at that beautiful cover. And you open it up and it's Chaz Traug. Or Grant Morrison. I used to say he got saddled with like really not the best art on his DC books, but I grew to really love Richard Case on Doom Patrol. First, I was like, I don't know what this guy's doing. Why is he on this book? But Richard Case had an impossible job on Doom Patrol, and he pulled it off with aplomb. Chaz Traug, not a big fan, even since Coyote and his days on Badger back in the day. But, I don't want to, again, tough job drawing Grant Morrison script. This was pre-Vertigo, before Vertigo actually existed. If you like Doom Patrol, Swamp Thing, Sandman, Question, this is right up your alley. It's also one of those runs that people respect, but that first issue still hasn't become expensive the way you might expect it to be. It's very affordable. Single digits if you want a nice copy. And it's, again, the first 26 issues are classics. Who's in the room with you? Blink if you need help.
I'm sorry. I've got the door closed and I can see a cat paw under the door. And then all of a sudden, a crayon comes rolling underneath the door and stops, and you see the cat paw coming out like that. Sorry, it was very distracting.
It's Tink playing with himself since you won't play with him.
Yes, he is upset.
Horrible man.
He is upset he's left out.
Animal Man. Speaking of animals, ever read it? What do you think?
No, I never read it. I know our mutual friend, DD Comics fan, Forrest, is an Animal Man fan. No, this is one of the books that I just never I never even saw it, like, to pick it up, to be honest with you.
It's worth it. The first 26 issues, especially. And then the Rick Veitch run, I think is Rick Veitch takes it over, and it stays good for a little bit. And then it goes up way off the rails, but we'll get into that when we get into the 25-year rule or something sometime when the book hit the end of its run. What do you say? No, I have still not seen Spider-Man. Whew, we got through a whole episode.
You know, someone was going to ask you.
No, I have not, but I will. I promise you all. Thanks, everybody. Members, we'll see you on Thursday. Everyone else, catch you Monday.
Everybody.